Okay, I'm live. Okay, cool. So last stream, apparently I gained some followers. Now, thank you for following. I appreciate you, legitimately. And I tried to figure out why it didn't show up, because when there's an alert, like when a follow goes through, there should be an alert on Twitch's side in like the activity feed where we sit on our streamer side. You know, that lists the username of the follower. But the 2 followers that I got last stream were not captured by that. So unfortunately, it was a problem on Twitch's side. I'm so sorry about that, but I do appreciate you. The only reason why I saw that you guys follow was because it eventually showed up like 6 hours later in the little side corner of my stream manager thing. So even though I didn't acknowledge you, and even though there wasn't an alert on there, on like the corner here, I do appreciate you for following. If you do end up seeing this video. If not, that's okay. I still appreciate you. I love you for following. But just know, even if I don't acknowledge it, even if the alert doesn't show up, I appreciate you. Genuinely. Okay, with that out of the way, I'm going to continue where we left off. And yeah. You don't look so well. Have you gotten any sleep? Raven sets down his cutlery when he feels Lagarde's gaze. The wrinkles on Lagarde's face form a concerned expression. Only the 2 of them are sitting down for breakfast. Gal is still sleeping, and Rorty, who is still recovering from surgery, can only consume liquids.
Blurchy.
Nightmares, I guess. I forgot. You know how people often forget their dreams the moment they wake up? I know that intimately. Assuming I even dreamed in the first place. You just weren't scared enough. Lagarde waves his finger as he stares at Raven. When nightmare becomes reality, you never forget it. What in the Minecraft cave noises? Okay. Raven's heart quivers as if a small string has been gently plucked, but his intuition tells him that the man's facade is cracking from something more subtle. Like a channel of grief and despair. Oh, excuse my mumbo-jumbo. There are many people in this world who also suffer from the same fears and nightmares as you. Does this make you feel any better? Much like poor Gal. He just lost his brother. Oh, that's not a very good analogy. Would you like some warm milk? The younger man's mouth twitches. When he met Gal last night, the man who had kidnapped him, he was gaunt, frail, and sullen, completely different from the evil in his imagination. Speaking of the death of Gal's brother, he was secretly celebrating. It could never say he was sorry for his loss. Raven would rather stay away from him.
Line.
No. I feel much better now. Thank you, Mr. Wyston. It's my job to provide you with the best environment possible. I just hope my forced retention hasn't upset you. We really need you here. Raven is taken aback. The older man's words remind him of why he chose to become a doctor in the first place. A need to be needed. A sense of purpose.
Team Align.
I'll do my best. Is there anything else I can do? The older man tinkles the brass bell. After a while, the maid arrives with their coats. Maids have taken your clothes to the cleaners. I have a more dignified outfit for you. Hope you don't mind my self-assertion.
Line. Ves Whiteson.
Not at all, Mr. Weiston.
Ring too, Jang.
Would you care to join me on a little trip that is held dear to me? Better not wake Gal and Rorty, though. They're still asleep.
Just your claw?
Where to? Lagarde shifts his legs to support his body and spins his cane. The younger man turns his gaze from the brass horse head in his hand to discover the older man has already put on his trench coat. They're sitting in the car just like yesterday. The driver, now known as Larry, starts the car. Raven hasn't seen Robert today. Perhaps he's been fired. He may be granted with a sneak peek of the man's secrets. Before they leave the house, the gentleman takes a bunch of fresh white lilies from the vase and wraps them in paper. When the car finally stops, Raven can make out the painted red lettering on the sign. Ermengarde Chapel. I don't know how to pronounce that name, bro. It's something. It's something. Raven gazes from the bouquet in the gentleman's hand to the masses of graves in the dim morning light. This chapel outside Illy is famous for the cemetery in the back. He wonders who they will be visiting while following the older man in silence. They walk down the path of gravelly gray slabs between the tombs, deep into the cemetery. He glances at the gravestones while passing through. The carved stones exhibit patterns that evolve over time with its occupants. Lagarde shows his steps in front of one of them. Slows his steps in front of one of them. I can read. An abnormal intensity of emotion descends upon him. He doesn't seem to be shaking or crying, just staring at the white marble headstones, his rough and broad hands clutching the flowers. But the fear is so palpable that it's as if countless crows have landed on his shoulders. The man finally stops in front of a plainly styled grave, which Raven is afraid to approach. So, the younger man watches Lagarde from a distance, as his eyes bore into the red inscription, which the weather has not worn away. Raven is able to decipher the name engraved at the top. Sierrat Aurora, W, 1527 to 1542. A young girl who lived only 15 years. The man takes a handkerchief from his pocket before bending down to wipe condensation off the stone. Raven tries to keep this name in mind while observing his movements. Even his clammy hands start to feel warm from nerves. A rustling sound approaches. Footsteps, gentle and steady. A man. Lagarde seems to detect his presence too, though he remains unswayed. He resumes his work, wiping away dirt and dew.
Eh?
Winchar? Is that Winchar from med school? It's the detective he met in the morgue the day before. What a coincidence! What are you doing here? Easton recognizes him and smiles, but his mind is buzzing, tongue unconsciously flicking in his mouth, making a stuttering noise. His heart pounds in his chest as if all of his organs are in tune to its beat. When Raven clenches his fists tightly, even it trembles with this rhythm. He's too scared to breathe and becomes lightheaded from the elevated blood pressure and lack of oxygen. He's only a few feet and Lagarde away from the detective. What? That does not make sense grammatically from my perspective. He is only a few feet and a Lagarde away from the detective. All Raven needs to do is tell him what's happened, and he'll be out of the woods. The thought stirs him, and the roar of hope fills his heart with courage. Raven is almost ready to turn on his heels. However, they fall back on the slab as if a thick swamp is swallowing him up. He just can't pull his legs out of it. Lagarde. Lagarde is still standing between him and the detective. And Rorty still needs him.
Godhrkar?
Are you alright? Maybe it's because he's acting strange. With painful look on his face that betrays him, but Easton takes 2 steps toward the young man and Lagarde turns to look at him. Keep silent, as was in the prologue.
Line.
Okay, I think this is the best option I can choose, because knowing Lagarde, he has superpowers. The previous chapter proved that this man also has superpowers and he just killed a bitch. So, you know what? I'm going to save Raven. Raven needs to survive, okay? That is all I physically know. This man has died so many times throughout this series. I need him to live. It's not even funny. He dies too much, man. He needs to live. It's fine. Thank you. Easton gazes at him with a quizzical look on his face, but just nods in acknowledgement and says nothing. The guard rises up, leaning on his cane. He bows his head slightly to the younger man in thanks. The trio falls into silence as the cold white fog wafts around the headstones and between their legs. He tries to break the strange atmosphere by initiating a conversation.
Just your claw?
So, who are you paying a visit to, may I ask?
Ah,
To someone I didn't save.
Godhrkar?
And you?
Mother steer.
I'm just here with a friend. As he speaks, the older man's sullen expression eases. This makes his bulging brows and slim nose look extremely gaunt, revealing fatigue and pain. Please, excuse my manners, as a father who has lost his daughter.
Gush.
No, I should apologize. The gentleman takes off his monocle and wipes it with a piece of silk. As he lowers his head, Raven notices the fine wrinkles on his forehead. He's an old man, well on the way to decrepitude. I've never seen that word before, I ain't gonna lie. She was a wonderful, well-behaved girl, lovely as an angel, the sweetest dream. His hand stopped while a faint smile plays on his lips, but his brows remain even. Maybe she was too good for this world, so Votru took her away early. The man's words are light, more like a sigh. He turns around before letting out a suppressed sob. He watches, almost with bated breath, as the man nearly loses control, eagerly searching for the telltale signs that would lead him to this man's deepest secrets. The detective slowly turns to face the gravestone he came for. Gods always want the most innocent souls by their side. They're so vibrant, full of potential. Always gone too soon. The younger man fixes his gaze on the duo in silence. He will not persecute the father, a man in despair. He is a doctor, and the doctor's universal principles apply to everyone. So, he turns to the detective instead. You are also mourning your child? No. A victim in a case. He was only in his teens when his throat was cut open. Maybe death was kinder to him, you know, as a musical genius who grew up as a star and lost his voice. Alas. He takes a drag from his cigarette, slowly puffing out a sigh. The resonance of the detective's words makes the older man lift his head, looking pensive. Lagarde looks less withered than before, but he keeps rubbing his forehead as if still troubled by pain.
Just your claw.
Did you catch the guy?
Der Fiek.
No. This is the most appalling cold case I've ever come across. We could have caught him, but he's very skilled and has shown awful precision with the victims. Except for Albert. His throat was covered with a bandage when we found him. First aid style. Someone was trying to save him? Who knows? Maybe it was his last mercy, but it didn't help. The detective sighs and flicks out the ash. Take a cigarette for this rare encounter. I come here every year, but this is the first time someone else has been here with me.
A line.
No, thank you. The older man stands up to avoid the detective's offering, as if he could not endure any more. He lowers his head, covering his face with the shadow from the brim of his hat, and walks past the man in silence. He pats Raven's arm on his way.
That's white.
Mr. Wyston? The younger man forges a puzzled look and calls the gentleman with absolute sincerity. He thinks his acting skills have improved a lot over the past few days, and hopes this detective won't be careless enough to ignore the only clues he can offer. The older man grabs Raven's arm and forces him to leave. All he can do is glance back at the apathetic detective, who remains standing and gazing down at the white lily in front of the tomb. Oh, well, Easton noticed. From what previous chapter showed, Easton definitely noticed. So don't you worry about that, hon. Alright, do I want to go to Let's Serial, or do I want to go to, Prai? You know what? I want to see what Prai is up to. It's been a while. I want to see what he's doing. Stella Club. Prai stares blankly at the rustic sign on the door with paint peeling off of it. Despite the empty hall, there's a small window on the right of the front door for ticket purchases. A red curtain hangs in front of the window, brandishing a note that reads closed. Sir? Prai glances back to see a dark-haired man around his age, dressed in what the heck? Prai glances back to see a dark-haired man around his age, dressed in a decent suit, looking bored and leaning on the wooden chair. You here to get a refund? The man fiddles with the pen in his fingers and then points it at Prai. He leans forward, his curious eyes on the visitor, who merely answers with his gaze. No? Sorry, but the club's been suspended and the show cancelled. So no No? Sorry, but the club's been suspended and the show cancelled, so no tickets this week. Why don't you come back next week? Prai's brows furrow at his reply. After getting the address from the Warnock's leather shop, he chose to avoid last night's peak hour. To be precise, most of his time was spent on sending telegrams, sorting out clues, and ditching his pursuers, delaying his visit to the club.
Fantastic.
What happened? The manager raises his eyebrows impatiently. He thinks he knows what this man is after, but he just shrugs to show he won't give it to him. I don't know, sir. I'm just, well, just a manager, you see. Something smells off to Prai. There's an impatience in the man's tone, so he's definitely not the first customer today. What the hell is going on here? Is no one going to ask about the club like he is? He leaves the club through the front door, turns down La Boya Street, bypasses the parked van, and heads along the back street. Soon the rear door of the club appears before him. He glances up at a high window, locating the room with heavy curtains and closed windows, just like the others. He takes 2 steps back to make sure the alley is empty before springing up the building's back wall and onto the window ledge. From there, he climbs onto the roof above the club's back door. Just as he anticipated, the architecture dons a skylight. Oh, back to the beginning! It reveals the actors' dressing rooms, which are unlit and empty. He breaks the lock and stealthily lands on the floor before silently closing the door behind him. He treads slowly through the room, and the wooden floor responds in a husky voice. The place is a mess. Costumes all over the place, some of them hanging on the props. Only the dressing tables are kept in order. He opens every drawer and searches to no avail, finding only a box of cosmetics. It's filled with notes written in lipstick by the actors. Hey, don't lie to me. You came last night, didn't you? I have no idea what you're talking about. Let me through. In a moment of desperation, he gently pulls open the closet door in the dressing room and hides behind the hanging costumes. Just as he camouflages himself, a young man walks in carrying an empty box, followed by a shorter man. Don't play dumb with me. I say it's because he's sick, but Hey, slow down! I heard the boss threw up a pile of dirt before he died. That's not something one usually vomits up. It won't matter if you just tell me what happened. The suitcase hits the ground with a thud. Pry holds his breath, assuming their movements solely by the noises they make. He can't see their faces now, but the young man being bombarded with questions does not intend to hide his impatience. Shut up! A reporter was just here. Do you want us to... do you want us in those tabloids? Just tell me already. How can he throw up dirt? I told you, it's sand, and it's all over the place. I can't even wash it off. There's silence for a moment as he relives the gruesome scene. Pry can understand why the manager responded the way he did. The club owner died last night of a sudden illness, and the journalists digging for tidbits are crawling all over the place like rats. As for the cause of this strange death, he is now convinced that the sick boss has absolutely everything to do with his mission. Alright, stop sniffing around. Here, take this to the basement. The door is reopened with a clang. The young man who traded his labor for the answer walks out with a box in his arms. There's only one person left in the room now. He watches the ginger-haired young man who has his back to him. He has a coat loosely draped over his shoulder, and a cigarette sits between his lips as he tries to light a match. Without hesitation, Pry leaps behind the young man and pushes him against the wall before he can turn around. He holds his right hand to the man's head to stop him from peeking, and the other grapples his wrists to prevent him from struggling. Who the fuck are you? Let me go!
Kaya.
Tell me what happened to your boss, and I will. His right elbow presses firmly into the back of the young man's head, and the boy's breathing quickens in fear of impending death. In fact, this little trick doesn't have any life-threatening consequences. This is his most common way of acquiring information. Quick, efficient, and risk-free. Fallon. Gilbert Fallon, the owner of this club. We heard about his death last night after the show. It's horrendous. His throat...
Don't it?
Take your time. His grip loosens a little, but the man is terrified to even breathe. He had sand in his throat, and there was blood and sand everywhere. It's like he was smothered to death by the wind.
Twinyak.
Damn it. You got singers here? Huh? Singers? No, sir. Cedar Fox, sir. Last night was jazz. Cedar Fox? That's not what I asked. Never mind. Where are the props? Yes, the club has been suspended and we don't need the props and instruments anymore, so we took them to the warehouse. We're still packing up today.
Hastig.
Which one? I really don't know, sir. We put all the stuff in the van downstairs, and every night it ships stuff to the warehouse. That's all I know, I swear. Fine. He releases his grip, and the young man hits the ground, shivering. After witnessing his captor open the window and escape, the man trembles, picking up his fallen cigarette. In Pry's experience, he'll spend the rest of the day in an empty warehouse, pining to get through with the day. He hops off the ledge and lands in the back alley, where he finally notices the van that has been neglected. He has to do it again tonight. Get in the car, hitch a ride with the rest of the shipment, and go straight to the warehouse. Having made up his mind, Pry returns to his base. The docks and warehouses are not safe, and he must prepare for what he is about to face. The sound of footsteps catches his attention. He's being followed. Pry slows his pace. He counts as a multitude of footsteps converge. 6, 7, 8, more. Take them out! Yo, with Pry, I'm just gonna go with it. It has to end here. It has to end right here. He can't be distracted anymore before the mission is completed. Yo, let's go kick some ass. Let's go. Pry walks at his normal pace and turns into an alley. It's empty and stench-filled, and ahead is a grayish-brown brick wall that towers over his path. Falling into a snare, aren't you? Huh? The man taunts him from behind, accompanied by the laughter of his goons. He turns slowly, casting a silent gaze toward the buckers like a sharpened blade. There are more of them than he thought. Nearly 20. No, it's not a snare, but rather the best place for him to get rid of a converging attack. You killed Gwyler, right? Son of a bitch even takes advantage of the Maximalist cowards. It's a square deal, he thinks.
Suck.
Never mind. We only worked with him for a little while. Those perverts deserve to die. As for you, it's not too late to beg for mercy.
You're clear.
You made a mistake.
Can't train.
In my opinion, the leather shop guy was capable of killing you 10 times over. He looks up, a small smile tugging at his lips.
Meant you shall leave. Fear to climb.
I killed him, and you won't be a problem. He pulls out the knife. Just before Hoito can react, Pry rushes at him like a bolt of black lightning tearing through the darkness. The man is caught off guard, and all they can see is his eyes locking onto his prey. The hilt of his hunting knife hits the man's jaw, immediately dispelling his attack. He dodges another attack while his boot hits a mobster on the forehead, leaving him momentarily powerless. 2 of them immediately get knocked on their backs, causing the others a moment of hesitation. It's a good chance to attack. He dashes toward the crowd, scrambling their formation, and grabs hold of the first guy with the gun. Pry tosses the attacker into the rest of the crew, making them howl and fall to the ground on top of each other. He grabs the hunting knife backhanded. They're definitely delinquents, but there's no need to kill them. Alley fights are his specialty, but not when he's outnumbered. After a few minutes, Pry notices several thugs have appeared at the end of the alley. They exchange glances, confirm each other's thoughts, and they charge together. He needs to get away from this consuming dogfight. Pry pushes a thug to the side, hitting the other in the head with the blunt side of his blade in an attempt to clear a path. Before he can drop back his knife from the stunned mobster, Pry feels a sharp sting in his shoulder. Warmth from the blood stands starkly against the coolness of the blade, and spreads from his wound, seeping into his shirt and dripping to the ground. It's blood. Okay. Damn. There are too many of them. He elbows the one who slashed him, and in the same breath he finds his balance and leaps forward to put a safe distance between him and the enemies at the back. A fallen mobster is trembling in the corner, unable to stand. When Pry deals with the rest at the back, a knife flies in his direction. It misses its target, brushing past his finger and stabbing the attacker's friend. What the fuck? Okay, I understand he got stabbed, but that was not the sound of someone being stabbed. That was the sound of being like someone hacking up their lungs. What the hell? A scream catches his attention. He turns toward the source, where all but one of the buckers have scattered. The man's face turns green, and his throat squirms. As more strange noises burst out, his wide-open mouth starts spilling a dark substance. Oh, that explains it. It's sand. As suddenly as he transformed, 2 more mobsters bend over. Blood and bits of gravel leak from beneath the hands, covering their mouths, building up between their fingers. They're writhing like insects burning in the heat of light, and the body fluids that seep to the ground dry up almost immediately. It's as if they were blazed by a dazzling fire. They roll, burn, glow, and extinguish. Just as the young man described. The other gangsters recoil from the situation. While the chaos continues, Pry uses a man's shoulders to reach the handrail to the second floor and climbs up to the stairs in the alley. As soon as he reaches the top of the building, he dashes to the other side of the roof. Without slowing down, he uses inertia to jump up to the nearest building, over the dirty alleyways, and lands a perfect angle on the skylight. Pry races down the stairs and jumps out of the second floor window, landing next to a coffee shop on the border of the old town. As he passes through the cafe and pushes open the door like a customer, all the pursuers have been left behind. In the distance, beastly growls are still audible. What the hell was that? Ah, fuck. Did I accidentally kill Pry by choosing that option? Ah, come on. He couldn't help but frown a little. A rush of thoughts flooded his mind. How did those gangsters get infected? What is the source of all this? Has it already spread? In any case, it's more serious than he'd imagined. He shakes his head, deciding to leave those problems aside for the time being. All he needs to do is find the clues and terminate the target. Pry is just a blade, and this is all he will ever be. There are others who will take care of whoever is behind these plots. Aerith. Oh, okay. So that's how that ties together. Okay. That's interesting. Hey, let's Serial, what you doing?
Kia 2.
Unlike records, broadcast is instantaneous. Your message is delivered the moment it's broadcast for people within its reach.
Station.
It is foreseeable that radio will deprive people of the alternatives. They will not be able to select what kind of information they receive. When we air something subjective or too extreme with this media, it will have an unrecognized and inescapable influence. Under no circumstances can we underestimate the power of radio. No matter what kind of information comes from people's mouths or how the media spins it, the narration will take on a subjective nature that cannot be ignored, from a simple factual description to a value output with opinions and judgments. Lathiriel yawns for the 20th time in a day. He decides to ignore the glares daggering towards him.
Lie.
This concludes my speech. You are all welcome to ask any questions. Finally, the 4-hour speech comes to an end. Lathiriel stretches his legs and makes his way through the crowd to the man on the podium. The chief is in his 60s. His neatly combed gray hair makes him look even sprier than the younger scholars around him. They are bombarding him with questions like starving chickens pecking at fresh seed. On his way through the crowd, Lathiriel accidentally bumps into a ginger-haired lady who rolls her eyes at his recklessness.
Go away.
Sorry, gotta run. His thick skin is his secret weapon. Those well-read, decent scholars can do nothing about it, but let him go through. He nods at them in apology before meeting the chief's eyes. They penetrate his very soul, but then he notices they're actually closed. A long scar across his upper face cost him his eyesight. But this dreadful scar doesn't diminish his authority. An unquestionable aura wrapped around his slightly hunched spine. He's standing tall and decisive at the podium, like he's a real general. The look of this man sends shivers down Lathiriel's spine, as if he's naked, exposing all his secrets to the broad daylight. Good day, Professor Mulnathan. I've been dying to meet you. Real fan of your lectures. I wanted to be wanted to be on the front row, but I just couldn't get the chance. He's surprised at the slight shake in his voice as he speaks. It takes him a few seconds to steady himself and get his pseudo-composure back. Lathiriel really needs this prompt to work. This is the first time I've gotten to talk to you in person. I'm very excited. I'd love to know more about that broadcast thing you've just mentioned. Like how to use...
Lie.
I am all ears. Maybe they realize his determination in keeping Sayel's attention, and since the latter granted this complete layman his time, the scholars around him finally decide to I cannot read for this section. What the heck happened, bro? Maybe they realize his determination in keeping Sayel's attention, and since the latter granted this complete layman his time, the scholars around him finally decide to leave the two be. Even the girl with a ponytail follows suit and exits the hall. The hollow room is filled with complete silence after the last audience member closes the gate. Lathiriel hears the steps merging into the wind through the heavy wooden door. The boy gathers all his courage before he speaks. My name is Lathiriel. Lathiriel the Stuovish, sir. What I'm really interested in is an accident that happened 10 years ago. A scholar died in the fire. Fire.
Lie.
Yes, I remember that terrible accident. But I think it's a little too heavy to speak of this in this sacred hall. He motions for the boy to follow him. It appears that the butler-like man on their tail is here to help the elderly scholar. The trio enters the chief's office on the top floor after passing through a series of corridors. Although it's afternoon, the heavy curtains in the room are drawn. They perfectly fulfilled their duty of blocking any sunlight trying to breach the area. The only light in his office comes from a burning fireplace. Its flickering flames paint the wooden furniture with a rust-like glow. The butler bows before exiting the room. Sayot feels his way to the armchair and motions the younger man to sit.
Steery.
Take a seat, my boy. Take a seat, boy. Make yourself comfortable.
Kiartu.
I don't think I caught your name. The boy is chewing on his paled lips. I need to confess now, he thinks. So, he holds his head high like a real scholar. Let's cereal, sir.
Lie.
I've heard it from your mother. This is why you are here, is it not? You do know her. I'm sorry I lied. No, I'm not here for the lecture. I'm here about my parents.
Slation.
I was a colleague of her friend's husband, Mr. Uriah. He said Mrs. Kieran was an excellent cook. She always brought cookies when she came here. The quiet and peaceful picture of life this man paints with words are mere fragments, but they still can pull the boy's heartstrings. He can see it all now, like a distant memory. He can even smell the kitchen. A brunette with an apron around her waist is calling for him. I could really use a hand here, let's cereal. Thank you, Professor Mulnathan. So, my parents have some sort of connection to that fire in 1529, right? Is this why they left me? The older man mulls over his response. When he speaks again, his calm and even voice makes it sound like he's talking about the weather, but hiding behind it is a river flowing with sorrow. It was a horrible accident. The spring that year came a little later than usual. Your parents, Uriah and his wife, were talking about their dinner gathering that night before, and the other day, Uriah told me about the tragedy. The kid survived, but his wife and your parents didn't make it. Fire. The older man's eyes are still closed, but the sorrow within is carved deep into the cracks of his wrinkles. He is lost in memory, his brows knitted together in grief. What's done is done, son. It was just a tragic accident. Nothing more. Accident? That's it? Just an accident? Anticipation seizes him by the throat. He wants an answer that he already received from the man, but a simple yes just won't suffice. It can't stop the thoughts that have been haunting him all his life. He is almost desperate when he fixes his gaze on the older man, waiting for him to finish. He knew it. The boy doesn't remember anything about his family. That's why his fantasy is just a warm and sweet illusion. The older man will crush his dream with what he is about to say.
Fee.
If you already knew what I was going to say, then you will also know it would be pointless to seek the culprits, let's Ariel. Karina would forgive them if she was still here. His stiff limbs are swallowed by the shadow of the past. This is the truth he has been looking for all his life. His parents are not those scholars. They are the ones who killed them.
Slation.
It was an accident, and it's better that it stays that way. Maybe it's fate that brought you here, but you shouldn't pay for their sins, boy. Fate. He barely recognizes his own hoarse voice when he speaks again. I thought you guys didn't believe in fate.
Fee.
We don't. It's karma we believe in. If your mother and Karina were not friends, she wouldn't have visited your house that night. The fire wouldn't have destroyed your family, and you wouldn't have been sent away. It's her death that brings you back here. A work of karma, my child. He reaches for the bell on his desk. After it rings, the butler comes in. Need something, sir?
Slation.
Prepare a guest room, Snar.
Kiartu.
You can think about it for the night. I will rearrange your accommodations if you need. What? The older man's kind offering leaves him dumbfounded. No, I accept the invitation. Let's go. No. I'll stay. Thank you. The older man is relieved to hear it.
Godhrkar 2.
My secretary is not in today, so let me know if you need anything. Escort the gentleman to his room, Snar. Lasriel follows the butler to his room for the night. They take the elevator down. After some time, the elevator is surprisingly slow. A long white hall appears before him with a ding. The butler stops before a door.
Walk this to.
This way, Mr. Kieran.
Let's see.
Thanks. It's really nice here. Only when he turns on the light does he realize that the hall is nothing compared to what's inside this room. It's terrifyingly empty, with just an operating table placed in the center. Wait, what? No! No! Oh, fuck. This view sends more shivers down his spine. There's a sharp sting in his neck just before he turns around. A needle injects something into his blood. Whatever it is, he can feel it spreading rapidly. What? Why is... His knees fail him, and he falls to the ground. The young man is desperate to stay awake, hands trembling as he fights to maintain consciousness. He wants to regain control over his body, but can't. The injection seems to spread faster as he struggles. Lasriel's eyesight blurs as he makes out a pair of freshly polished cowhide shoes before him. Chief... Large, rough hands grab him by the arms and drag him to the table. He feels no pain or fear. These feelings seem to be isolated in his newly empty head. Oh, fuck. I thought I would risk it for the biscuit, but apparently I shouldn't have done that. Oh my god. His numbed limbs are tied to the table by leather straps. Then he hears a familiar voice. Be careful. This is the precious specimen I've been looking for. This is the last thing he hears before losing consciousness. Desired euthanasia? What the fuck? That was in no way desired. That was in no way desired, you motherfucker. Excuse you. Okay. We'll just tell the guy to go fuck himself.
Here.
Decline the invitation. What's done is done. The name Verathesis Order is now tainted. He can't bear the thought of what others might think of him. This is not what he wants, but it's the work of fate. Thank you for your hospitality, but I really have to go now. If he wasn't so lost in thought, he would have noticed the amiable chief was not the same friendly man. His lips are clamped shut, making the scholar look solemnly cold.
Kiarfiok.
I am not asking for your permission, Lasriel. He will not take no for an answer. Lasriel is brought back to reality by a bell's ring. Following the butler is a group of men in white gloves and masks. The way the crowd looks at him makes him feel like a corpse on display.
Fee.
I will not let you walk free this time. Lasriel tries to kick them back, but they grab him by the arms, and two hands press his shoulders into the ground, causing a muffled groan to escape him. The boy seems to realize his position. The feeling of his head against the cold floor makes him struggle harder. But this desperate move is just a waste of strength. More hands and arms press against him, dissolving his resistance. Let go of me! His head is bleeding, his heart is throbbing, and his arms are probably bruised. Agony crashes into him. His limbs begin to fail him when numbness spreads to his limbs. It feels like the buzzing sound of the radio is drilling holes in his every bone. Sleepiness is wrapping around and through his mind, like it's filled with moths. An idea screams at him, telling him to fight. Lasriel crawls, racked with pain. His is the master of his own fate. He must take his body back. Wind sweeps through the pallid wilderness and crashes the remains of the past. This is the only thing he can see, a grey world built on ashes. What? No! Wait. Oh no, what the fuck happened? Something is pouring into his swollen eardrum. A deep sound like thunder. It spreads in his bones. What the fuck? No! A peal of bells rings out from thousands of nights before. He heard his name be sung by the night sky and land. As the kaleidoscope light fills his vision, it begins to focus on the center of the world and reflects a giant shadow. It rings again. He lowers his neck like a martyr readying to sacrifice himself. His mind was a blank. Only instincts were left to pull the strings of his body. Lethriel opens his bloodless lips to leave a mark on his slim neck. It's a bite full of light. Radiant light, like fire, cuts through the space. An invisible barrier with ghosts of the past haunting the background. Their translucent figures perish like mist under the sun's rays. It breaks forth from his body, shattering into rhombic pieces before shattering across everyone in the room. What the fuck? Yo, what the hell is happening? Yo, let's serial. Are you having your, like, protagonist awakening moment? What the fuck? The men who restrained him a moment ago are flung to the ground by the burning light. You know what? I'll fucking take it. If he's gonna go crazy mode, let's go. Let's go. This roaring power is enough to blow up the room, driving them to cover their eyes and flee in horror. Stop him! Oh my god. Slowly, the boy rises from the mess at the center of the room. His sweat evaporates in the fire, leaving a cold composure on his face. Sayelt can't tell what happened from just the groaning and other noises, but a voice inside his head tells him to keep the boy there at all costs. Lethriel turns to face him with eyes that are no longer his. They belong to a king, and darts toward the older man like a sword. What? Something unexplainable hits him, and his body shakes like leaves on a tree. His body floats into the air and slams against the desk. The man is tossed to the ground like a rag doll with a broken forehead. Okay, so in this moment, I can't stop but think of Hysono, and the fact that the playboy that seduced his sister is the one that ends up killing his father. That's fucked up. That's really fucked up now that I think about it. Holy shit. He passes out among a cloud of agony and mixed emotions. The wind fades after what feels like a century. Once the light dissipates, Lethriel stumbles forward before collapsing on the floor, panting heavily. What the hell? He tries to shake away the fuzziness, but a sudden wave of nausea stops him. As he slowly regains his senses, a fragment of memories resurfaces. He was grabbed by Sayelt's men, and they pinned him to the ground when trying to detain him. The boy blinks to focus on what's before him. As the blur dissipates, he is stunned by the sight. The men in white coats are scattered across the room. Most of them are unconscious. Some groan in pain with their hands covering their eyes. A burnt smell fills the room, and Lethriel sniffs around, trying to locate the source. This gets him nowhere except to the older man who's passed out on the floor. His face is covered in viscous blood, and near him is a pile of solidified light, ready to turn into ash. You need to get the fuck out, my guy. That's what happened. That's what you need to do. What did he do? What happened? Lethriel stares at his sweat-soaked palms. It's just human flesh, nothing more. But the fragments of what happened begin rolling through his head, and a warmth washes over him. He realizes he needs to stop thinking and get out before the men wake up. He drags his legs forward to take one heavy step after another like he's walking through thick swampland. Lethriel eventually manages to get to the window and tears the curtain aside. Blinding sunlight and brisk wind ravage his body. He pushes it further open and props himself against the frame before embracing the cold winter of Thalazak. Okay. I ran out of choices. This is the man I immediately thought of. Hysono, I'm sorry. You poor man. You poor man. Oh my god. Alright, do I want to go to Hysono or Aerith? You know what? I'll go to Hysono. I'll see how he's doing. I ran out of choices. Thanks for your patience, sir. But I'm sorry to inform you that Detective Eastenezer took the afternoon off, so he can't answer the phone right now.
Sigh.
Wait, how do you know Detective Eastenezer? Oh, are you still on about that fucking case? Is there somebody else on the case? Can you give me Mr. Easternezer's number? I'm afraid I can do neither of those things, if not authorized by the officers on duty. You can call back tomorrow if you like. Okay, fine. Thank you anyway. You're welcome. Have a nice day. He glances at the clock as he hangs up the phone. It was his last resource, and it turned out to be futile. This kind of frustration has been haunting him ever since Turnell was arrested. The young priest has been gloomy since he did his routine prayer and spotted today's newspaper on the table. It seems that he overestimated his patience for more What is that sentence? It seems that he overestimated his patience for Turner's case when that headline with his name on came into his sight. He finally realizes the evil intention of the author and uncontrollability of consensus. What is this sentence? I don't think anybody proofread this. Church and order. More low blow you don't know. He's lucky that he wasn't eating while reading, or maybe he He is lucky that he wasn't eating while reading, or he may be choked to death. His hands are trembling that he could barely see the letters on the paper. This author hits the bottom line yet again by making bold assumptions of the relationship between the church and Verathesis order, what the readers are so eager to see. A total nonsense. One of the evidences listed is his own testimony. He insisted that he was threatened. The duo even sent people to shut him up. Another one is the name Hysono. Never in his life did he dream of battering by criticism for his father, the chief of the Verathesis order. He never tried to cover up his identity, which is also the reason why he converted to the church. He could still remember the look on his father's face when he knew about his decision. His father is probably the reason why this young priest could climb his way up so fast. The author is the truth seeker himself, the journalist who has been perversely digging up the past of the beloved Turna Keshtazai, trying to find or fabricate mudslinging of him in the church. He considered himself a man with patience, but he still can't help but did nobody read this section? No. He considered himself a man with patience, but he still can't help but be pissed off by this ridiculous accusation. The priest scrunches up the news before throwing it to the fireplace. The rage seems to get him, so he missed his target before it falls to the ground nearby. I'm trying to auto-translate as I read, and that's what's making me stutter and stumble over my words right now. Hysono prays that a jury will not take these stories seriously. The church and police could put an end to this farce. Footsteps from the yard drag him out of his thoughts. Sandra pushes open the door. He rushes to greet his sister and takes her frozen hand into his firm grasp, trying to warm her.
Sandra?
Are you all right, Sandra? You feel so cold. Listen to me, Father. Listen to me, Hysono. Father was attacked. When? Where? How is he? I don't know. He was found in his office, unconscious. They said we can't visit him right now. She sounds confused and scared when answering his question. Hysono can't bear to see her like this, so he extends a hand to gently caress her hair. How hopeless she must have felt when she found out their father was sent to the hospital.
Marjolein.
Hey, don't worry. Father's going to be okay. They'll take good care of him. I hope so. They said the guards were all over the place, blocking everything. Professor Holland wanted me to tell you, but you mustn't tell anyone else. What's going on, Hyseno?
Aline.
We must do as Professor Holland said. Don't worry. I'll go and find out. You go home and stay with Agathenia. Can you do that for me?
Sure.
Yeah, I think I can. Though he's as confused and restless as she is, Hyseno doesn't forget to keep calm. He pats his sister on the shoulder before walking out of the church. He will put everything else aside for now. The priest decides to head for the Order's building after escorting the girl home. Who would want to hurt his father? The thought of somebody out there plotting something in the dark gives him shivers. It could be anyone. An enemy within? Mobster from the gang? Merchant who covets the Mulnathan Manor? Or a civilian incited by the report? The gate of the Order is locked. Everything is as tranquil as it usually is after lectures. But when he steps into the office building, like his sister said, the visitors were dismissed, leaving only guards scattered around the place. No sign of any combat boots. That's quite a surprise. It seems the police aren't yet involved, so it's still a secret of the Order. This made it convenient for Hyseno. These guards won't stop him, given the fact that they all know who he is. He steps into the elevator and presses the button for the top floor. He rushes to the end of the corridor when the elevator stops. 2 guards on each side of the door let him pass without a word. The priest pushes open the gate, a wooden gate, with his usual composure. His father's office is spotless, just like his study in the manor. A shiny desk within, with damaged decorations on it, is the perfect reflection of the... Sorry. His father's office is spotless, just like his study in the manor. A shiny desk with damaged decorations on it is the perfect reflection of the rigorous nature of this man. It seems like the guards already cleaned up the room. At least, they tried. But the scratches and crimson stains on the carpet are still a startling scene to see. He can't search the locked cabinet, so he slows his steps, pretending to be a real intruder to investigate the crime scene. This gets him nowhere. All he can tell is that the place looks like ruins after a hurricane. Who would dare to attack Syelt Mulnathan in his own office? If he's not safe in his private space, then where can he be? For the first time in his life, he panicked. No man has ever questioned the Order before, but now trust is beginning to collapse. After double-checking the suspicious stain in the corner, he shifts his focus to the desk. It's scattered with papers. Most of the original datum and essays have been transferred, leaving nothing for him to discover. He's exhausted and sits on his father's chair as the night falls. A sense of frustration and despair wells up inside for this young priest to chew on in disgust. A notebook catches his attention when he lowers his eyes to the drawer. His father always took it with him everywhere he went. After his brother passed away, he believed it not to be top secret, but a photo of Findlay. He understands why it was neglected after he opens it. The text is written in Braille for blind people like Syelt himself. He will find more and more metamorphers. Hunters must be prepared. Arif Samel will assume command as Hector advised. She is the only one for this job. The notebook contains names he may or may not be familiar with. He knows Arif, Syelt's secretary, but he can't make out the rest. This is not what he'd imagined. 23rd November. New metamorphers inbound. Gal Warnock, Gwyler Warnock. Level of hazard, unknown. Scout Turnakeshtazai must be sent to investigate. Scout Turnakeshtazai? His eyes widen in shock. Turna is one of them? Then why didn't they even try to prove his innocence? Hyseno has a bad feeling about this. There's no doubt that he's peeking at top secrets of the Order right now. About Hysono. He feels a tug in his heart when he sees his name. Never in his life had Hysono imagined he would find his name in his father's notebook. Once again, Rod wants me to have Hysono replace Findley's post, which is unacceptable to the Phosphorners and myself. He shouldn't be put in danger. I can't lose him, too. They think this reassignment will make the Order great again, but this is impossible. Findley is irreplaceable, and so is Hysono. They have made their decisions. What's the point in pushing him back to this dark and dangerous alley? I won't let them interfere with Hysono, no matter the cost. Aww. He tightens his grip on the little notebook. Behind these rugged dots are the things his father never told him. Secret missions, dangerous reports, and everything else he did for him. He covers his eyes with one hand and braces himself on the desk with the other. No one around would dare tell him how much he resembles his father now. The past flashing through his mind is strange to him. A naive boy who rebelled against his father who had just lost his other son.
Hysono.
I know what you're trying to explain, Hysono. Unfortunately, I can't help Father Kestra's eye right now.
Slay
And you should stop worrying so much and focus on the festival. End of discussion. This is not my choice, Hysono. One day you will see what I did with your own eyes. It is all for you, my son. Just like what the Order has been doing for all of us. The father in this notebook is a stranger to him. Hysono arrogantly assumed his father wanted to control him after he lost his perfect son. He fought back as he always did without knowing they shared the same sorrow. It's completely dark in the room now. He decides to apologize for what he did in the past, and for the fact that his father's efforts to protect him will have been all in vain. Hysono will no longer hide under his father's wings. Sayelt is still in a coma. He must take up his father's job now. His timidity and anxiety have brewed into something deeper by the second time he turns the pages of the notebook. He carefully flips each one over, unwilling to miss any words. His patience pays off when a little mark catches his attention. A -7 in Braille on the cover. It seems more worn out than other parts, probably because of Sayelt. This marker looks familiar somehow. He rises from the chair to pace the floor. What does it mean? Why is it here? As the only marker on the cover, it must have a meaning. What could it be? He's trying to formulate the connections between everything when he catches a glimpse of the corridor through the ajar door. Yes, the elevator. He has seen it before, but without realizing it. Only an elevator would use Braille in this building. This is a hint. There's something inside that elevator. He tucks the notebook in his bag and dashes out of the office. He steps inside the elevator where he will be studying that mysterious -7. The building doesn't have a basement, so the numbers on the panel stops at 0. This can't stop him. The young priest is determined to find out the secret button. He presses the 7 like entering some kind of code, but the elevator does nothing except open the door at the 7th floor. There must be a secret button somewhere. He sighs and stops torturing the poor panel. After carefully observing the buttons, he discovers that 7 is almost battered as 0, and its edges are so worn that he can see the original color under the silver coating. His father's office and 2 small conference rooms are situated on this floor. Sayelt is by no means a conversable man, and just doesn't get many visitors. He's getting closer to solving this mystery. He presses the 0 and 7 at the same time, and the car shakes. It starts going down. He prays it will go all the way to the heart of the mystery. The pointer shows he's reached level 0 with a ding, but the elevator just keeps going down. Hysono is pumped up with adrenaline. For the first time in his life, he feels he can achieve something big, and he's ready to face the center of the maelstrom. The elevator stops after descending to an unknown floor. His breath hitches when the metal gate opens itself, to reveal the darkness outside. What the fuck? A long corridor manifests itself before the priest, making the place look like an old shelter. The cement walls on each side are plain, simple, and sturdy. A breeze from the other end of the corridor suggests it's not enclosed, so there must be a ventilation. It's not especially cold, but he still can't stop himself from trembling. After a moment of hesitation, he braces himself and steps into the unknown. Isnell carefully moves along the corridor, hearing only the echo of his steps and breathing. The priest is surprised to find he can see now, as if the place is filled with invisible lights. Iron gates with tags like lab, conference room, and ward line the walls. Compared to the facility above, this whole area looks like an abandoned pit, but it must have plenty of visitors. He tries the door labeled lounge. Oh, pause real quick.
Mic off. Mic on.
Alright, sorry for that. I am back and ready to party. Party hardy. He tries the door labeled lounge. An unknown voice from behind stops him, and the echo bounces between the walls of the corridor. You need to be responsible regarding what you've found, young Mulnathan. He turns to find Professor Hector Caplet standing in the elevator with a forced smile on his face. What? How did you get in the elevator? I just came out of the elevator. What do you mean? What? What is going on, bro? Oh, so we're just gonna leave it at that? That the basement is probably haunted? Okay. That's cool. I definitely didn't want to know what happened there. Okay, I could go to Aerith, or I could go to Shervlet. I'll see what Aerith's up to.
Fee.
Go back. His words are as cold as the wind brushing past Aerith. It's tea time. After she arrives in Illy, she heads for downtown as soon as she can. The secretary finds a seat in the corner of a cafe not very far from Pry's safe house. She can enjoy the quiet street view from the window. Aerith shifts her gaze to the empty chair across from her, then to her steaming white mug, from which a faint aroma of black coffee pervades the space. She blows on the rim before speaking softly and firmly. Things are tougher than you thought, Ash Versal. They sit back to back like two complete strangers, though a familiar tension surrounds the two. She doesn't know if they share the same feelings, she and Pry, as when she sips something in a cafe or a bar. But it's nostalgia for her when she feels the warmth radiating from behind her. Think about Gilbert Fallon. We both know he didn't die from an accident. She won't look back, avoiding the man's indifference. Aerith stirs the steaming brown liquid in her mug, whose surface reflects the stern silhouette of the head of the operation. She is well aware of the current situation, having taken the job from Findlay Mulnathan almost a year ago. Gwyler Warnock was eliminated. Locating Gowl is only a matter of time. The coldness in his words cuts through the facade to reveal the cruelty hiding behind the missions, dragging their conversation down to a swamp of blood. He's probably the most dangerous man Aerith has ever met, given his impressive record, Former hunter, soldier, butcher, killer, and other occupations in selling death. He doesn't like to express himself, nor discuss the respect he has for his boss, like Aerith. This makes him seem like a real nuisance. The Warnock brothers alone can't cause all the fuss. Swollen throat, vomiting sand. We've never seen such a lethal voice before. She has known him long enough to decipher his real intention from his unpleasant demeanor, making her one of the few people who dare to look at the man in his baby blues. She knows what's behind his tacernity, his hollowness, not introspectiveness. This made him the most powerful weapon the Order has ever had.
Godhrkar.
That's right. It's my mission. All you need to do is bring Turnakesh'Tuzai back to Thalazak and act like a leader, not show up in this cafe yourself. It sounds like you don't trust me enough.
Zendomia.
I don't. They both know there's a wall between them. The disagreement doesn't come from lack of trust, just like his cold refusal isn't from arrogance or contempt. Aerith is the head of this operation. All she needs to do is sit in the office and issue orders. The casualties are mere numbers on paper, not the flesh and blood he's fought with. At least, this is what he thinks. The footsteps approaching the duo keep the argument at bay. It turns out to be the waiter serving Pry his hot mute juice, and he almost spills honey on the table because of the overheating mug. This causes a sigh from Pry, who is almost overwhelmed by the apologies. They sit quietly at their tables, having their desserts. After a long silence, a clang of spoons and plates followed by a rustling catches Aerith's attention. It seems like Pry is about to leave after leaving some coins to pay the bill. I know I shouldn't be saying this, but neither of us can afford to be irrational. Don't forget that. He turns his head to the girl and steps out of the cafe, raising a complaint from the wooden gate. She savors the last bit of her coffee after seeing him off. When she's done, the man is nowhere to be seen through the glass window. Boredom suddenly hits her in this precious leisure. She twirls the cup in her hand, and the silver trim on the mug glimmers under the light. It's time for her to leave. She has something important to do. The police station is not far from the cafe, and it doesn't take her long to arrive at her destination. The lady at reception doesn't even bother to raise her head before pointing to the board beside her. I'm here to pick up Turnakesh'Tuzai. Silence wraps around the hall as that name is said aloud. The operator finally raises her head from the desk and fishes out a list, trying to locate the appointment. Aerith is painfully aware of the officers looking curiously at her left eye. Go straight, then turn right. You need to fill out the paperwork in the executive office first. Thanks. She climbs the marble stairs to the hall and passes a carpeted corridor before standing before the office. You're here for Turnakesh'Tuzai, right? He was proven innocent yesterday, and here you are already. Fine, just sign here and follow me. Understood? Understood. She ignores the hostility in his words while the man shuffles through files and hands her the one she needs. Things go smoother than she expected, and they exchange small talk on their way to the office. She follows the officer to a set of double doors down the corridor. He pushes it open and gestures for her to enter. It's an office with a tall domed ceiling and a lot of desks situated in lines. They shine like mirrors under the light from the windows. Although they're still on duty, many officers seem to think it's tea time because they're gathering at the break room. Wait here. I'll get your guy. Fine. With the door closed, only Aerith is left by the desk near the door with the officers, who have no intention of going back to work. They split into twos and threes after finishing their tea. I can't believe it. An intern skipped work to file a complaint. We'll be looking for dogs next time. You're telling me. She sizes them up from where she sits, while the others laugh like it was some brilliant joke. Some even take seats on the desk like they're tired from all the laughter. Really good one, he said. Can you believe that? He found the wrong guy. I mean, I'd love to go out looking for missing dogs. It'd be nice to just take a walk along the river. Officers at other desks join the chit-chat, making the room feel more like the club room on Friday nights. The subject quickly shifts to children. They're laughing like the kidnappers or murders never exist, as if the missing kids just went on a vacation to escape from their tests and worries. She's had enough of the stupid banter between these men. They're a complete waste of tax money. Arif leans on the desk, hoping to hide some of her exhaustion and frustration. A door being flung open, followed by heavy footsteps, catches her attention. It's the officer returning with Turna behind him. The man appears to have lost some weight. Even his cheeks have slimmed down. He looks languished from prison life and carries only a suitcase with him. Arif is relieved to finally see him standing before her, the anxiety from the long wait since his arrest dissipating. Her heart is filled with joy at their reunion. The priest smiles, probably to keep her from worrying too much, but then grimaces at the pain from cuts near his mouth. The frail pace also betrays his true condition. She takes a suitcase for him as they leave the station. Birds cruise through the winter sky, and tree branches cast shadows on the streets. After several blocks, they leave the station behind to see Ermgahad Chapel down the street. It's quiet around here. The edifice doesn't get a lot of visitors. A bunch of birds vie for food, but the flock flees as the pair gets closer. The duo decides to sit in the small room behind the chapel. Coldness radiates from the chair below and begins to circulate in her veins. Turna stretches his body but stops halfway, hissing at the pain from his wounds. It's good to be free again. I wish I could have gotten you out sooner. It's okay. I'm just glad to finally be out, thanks to you. They wouldn't let me work overtime in my cell. His words put a wry smile on her face. So, you were set up when you spotted them at the crime scene? Yeah, I'd followed them for a week and finally found out what they were after. But I underestimated the older Warnock. And you know the rest. You should look on your face right now. I guess I'd better not read the newspapers. But you should really take a look at this stuff, Arif. I found it in the shop and hid it in my lining. I wanted to send it to the order, but I was caught, so... He's wearing the same old shirt he wears every winter, which they tease him for back in Thalazak. They should all be grateful for this shirt, she thinks as the man unbuttons himself. He turns it over to expose a disorderly line of thread. He rips it open and fishes out a folded paper. It's a scratched stub that's half torn, and the writings seem blurred by some kind of oil. She tries to make out the contents under the light. There are some numbers and the word oboe? Or is that obek? Oboe. Among the blurred blue sketches. But the torn order cut off several letters at the end. She stared at them. W-Y-T. Perhaps a name? Whitereed, Witten, or Weiston. The thought of his name makes her shiver. This could be really important, but now is not the time to pursue it. The priest needs to get some rest. It's getting late. Go get some rest. Bry and I will take it from here. You should take some time off and maybe go on a vacation when this is over. That sounds nice. Speaking of him, how is he? Well, you know how he is. They exchange smiles. She hands over the suitcase and bids them goodbye. Her smile fades as she returns to the streets. Arif's mind is filled with endless questions, but one big one keeps popping up. Will history repeat itself? Nobody answers. The doubt bounces off the wall before vanishing into the cold air. Sparrows and crows land on the ground, clamoring for seeds. She walks in silence as she drowns herself in thought and coldness. Okay, so we got Turnakesh's eye out of jail. That's cool. So that leads me nowhere. Meaning I have to do her. Maybe that will unlock the other chapters on the side there. Grand Pian Theatre is situated in western Thalazak, boasting a long history and extravagant grandeur. It still maintains the luxurious decoration of the last century after post-war renovations. An ornate half-wall and hollow-out screens separate the auditorium and lobby. The hall is a glass dome through which visitors can enjoy the beautiful nightfall. The boxes on the second floor are saved for special occasions and tours. Grand Pian Theatre is written on a board rimmed with gold inset into red bricks. Shervlet is relieved from the long travel and stands before the building that puts Stella's club to shame. This is the stage she deserves. They've been busy with the preparations since they arrived this morning. She passed the first round, with the help of Mr. Wyston, of course, and will attend the audition as a backup associate of Pearl Orchestra. It seems quite a few candidates made it to the second round. Any mistakes would be fatal at this stage, especially unpunctuality.
Oxai.
What are you looking at? We ain't got all day. Robert's words drag her back to reality. The man tucks his watch into a pocket before striding to the stairs. She gathers up her dress and follows suit.
Is there a star?
They won't give us a pass this time.
Nor a line.
It's okay. Bishop granted us a second chance, didn't he? And...
Shang.
But... She follows the voice to find a group of girls in robes nearby, whose eyes are shining with tears. It seems the judge wasn't very nice back there, and a blonde priest is trying to cheer them up. This is inevitable, she thinks coldly. It's not a place for kids, after all. There will only be one singer left. They should have known this is a competition, not a playhouse. Someone is unhappy. She turns around to see Robert signing up at the registration desk.
Ear glow.
Get everything done, Rob?
Toi.
Damn it. Don't call me Rob. And yes, I'm your manager, and a very good one. She doesn't take what he said very seriously. He is just like the others who can't see the talented singer in her. She begins to search for the Pearl Orchestra, which should have arrived a long time ago.
Oxai.
They're waiting for you. Come on. Let's go over and say hi. You've been doing great, so keep it up. What was she expecting? She sighs inwardly. The last few rehearsals with the Pearls were not great at all. They could fool a layman like Robert, but never her. What they gave her was nothing but loud noise. Maybe this is why Mr. Wyston didn't set up the Pearl Orchestra, but used a foreign band instead back at the Stellas. Or he was just convinced they could always work it out. Though she sometimes doubted him, she always did as he said because her understanding was that he paid so much money just for her own pleasure.
Melody Jalone.
Afternoon, Miss Hillel. This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. She just nods in response. Anyone else would get to try out again the next... She just nods in response. Anyone else would get to try out again the following year if they wanted, but this would be Shervlet's only chance. The orchestra has done their best, and she just hopes they won't slow her down at this point.
Oh, Morien.
Afternoon, gentlemen. She is about to leave for practice one last time before the show starts when she hears something. Substitute of a substitute, isn't she? Shervlet whips her head around to see a man who's laughing with another colleague. The other man notices her presence and pokes the jokester in the arm, making him freeze. She knows what her patron did to get her into this room, but she can't stand other people's talk.
Law?
I'm sorry?
Cooch.
Oh, pardon his nonsense. What he meant was, we're sorry our leading singer isn't here, you know? He's always wanted to perform in Thalazak.
Kurasilian.
I wish that too. Believe me, I know what it feels like to be despised for no reason better than anybody, and I would stand up for anyone who was wronged. Well, since he's not here. The announcer's voice coming from the hall stops her from continuing. That's Pearl Orchestra from Illy City. Let's give them a big round of applause. They did a very good job even without a singer, so it's a pass for all of them. Wait, what? What have you done? I wasn't... Oh, saved you the trouble, didn't we? The church told us that we'll be on the stage with their choir at the festival. What?
Moistia.
You heard me. Just leave. This isn't a place for a woman like you. Her face goes pale after hearing the man's words. These viperous men went on stage without her. She was tossed away like garbage. No spotlight will shine on her anymore. She should have known that even if there was thunderous applause, they were never for her. Even if it was her only desire. She tries to calm the rage roaring inside by letting out a deep breath. Mr. Wyston will not be happy when he hears about this, but there's nothing he can do about it. Chervlet knows she can't live under his wings forever. She must fight for herself. Get lost.
Huh?
What? I said get lost! She steps into the spotlight, turning her back to the band. The front row is barely occupied, containing just a few people in the Order's uniform. The entire hall is almost empty aside from judges and candidates. Since the Pearl Orchestra has broken the contract first, I guess I won't be needing them anymore. We present to you Miss Chervlet Fouicher. Please enjoy her wonderful performance. Robert is clearly frightened by her boldness. He rushes to where she can see him and waves his arms, silently shouting. Are you crazy? What do you think you're doing? Miss Fouicher, this list we have doesn't include your name. Theoretically, we can't put your name on either. We need an explanation here, please. I was supposed to be singing here tonight, according to the contract we made with the Pearl Orchestra, and I do believe that a piano can bring out my voice the best. This is what the auditorium is for, isn't it? She puts on her usual smile, the confident type, not the seductive one, for the judges. She's got to convince them that she is the one they've been looking for. Her words raise a buzz among the judges as they quickly exchange opinions. After it dissipates, one of them speaks with a curious tone. We will verify what you said later, but now I give you a chance to prove yourself. We will verify what you said later, but now I give you a chance to prove yourself. Begin when you're ready. Oh, that was very generous. She holds her head high after being granted another chance. I will not let you down. Chervlet strides over to the piano. This time she won't be needing a band. She's now wearing a custom gown, and her long indigo hair cascades down, shining with a light-like hue. Should I be reading that? It's going too fast. I don't know if I should. Should I be reading that? I don't know. She is absorbed in the enchanting melody coming from the black and whites under her fingers. The judges' faces are unreadable in the dark. She sings with the music, lost in the zone she created. The craving for her voice by the audience pervades the air until the song stops. She's more dazzling than any other candidate in the room.
Vajula.
That was amazing.
For sure.
I've never heard this song before, but it's very moving. It was incredibly tense.
More 4-star.
Is that so? But I think the choir is better. Oh, Archbishop, how you doing? What you doing? It's been a while. An objection coming from the judges interrupts the flattery. Bishop Guiel from the church is not touched at all. Oh, he is the bishop. Sorry, wrong title. Oh, yes. St. Godhrkar Academy is very impressive, but I think this lady before us is more qualified. Would you listen to yourself? More qualified? Do you actually think this Miss Fuicher from some seaside town is more qualified than Father Mulnathan's choir? But his words don't elicit the response he expected. He's right. The Academy is one of the venues. I'm afraid it won't be appropriate if we... Others seem to be wavering at his proposition, leaving Shervlet standing on the stage, dumbfounded. She knows that no matter how wonderful her performance was, it will never defeat that name and what's behind it.
Lo?
Excuse me, sir? Was I not good enough? Or is it because I'm just some nobody? As the last syllable and the truth behind it drop to the stage, the room seems to freeze. Well, Miss Fisher. Robert's low barking can't stop her from going on. It's now or never. She will seize this opportunity to change their mind. We are here to pick out the most beautiful voice, not the most qualified sponsor, aren't we? If that's what you want, I think you better find yourself a nice office to look through. The resumes and select... Okay. If that's what you want, I think you better find yourself a nice office to look through the resumes and select some old money from those big families. Shervlet! Her hands are shaking and cheeks are burning after Robert's exclamation. Yes, a few tears to liven things up. It's not hard. She can almost feel them coming. Enough. Bishop Guiel speaks calmly, the anger barely audible, but it's enough to snap her out of the daydream. It looks like Miss Fischer has some misunderstanding about this audition. You're right. We are not here to pick out the most beautiful voice, but we are not here for the old money from big families either. Does anyone remember why we are here?
Allah?
What?
More 4-star.
We are here to pick out the voice for Baptism Festival, to celebrate the givings from baptized Yishtis. Holy Theophilsa blesses us with their presence on this land called Thalzak. If not for them, we would still be animals. I'm afraid what you offer is a little shallow, if I may be so bold, to be present on the stage for Yishtis. Only a devoted and humble soul will be singing on that day. But what did this Miss Frigere do? Something far from it, I'm afraid. Would you be so kind as to tell me what kind of song you would choose for the Yishtis?
Song.
Well, it seems she hasn't done any homework before. Indeed, and it sounds so sad. That's enough. He raises a hand to stop them. Some place out of this church would be more appropriate for Miss Fischer. What we need here is someone more devoted and more educated. Okay, I guess that's a fair point. Okay, so he's coming out with some very fair points here. Okay. He suggests she leave the stage. Shervlet is completely speechless before Guiel. Yeah, he has that. He does that, apparently. He leaves Hyseno speechless. He leaves you speechless. He leaves everybody speechless, bro. That is this man's talent, leaving everybody speechless. You know, it's respectable that he does that. Because he does bring up some fair points. She bites down on her lip before taking a bow and leaving the stage. All of her hard work, her little schemes, all crushed by this supremacy. A countryside girl doesn't deserve your time, Bishop Guiel. She's a disgrace just standing there. You don't need to say that. We understand you perfectly. She catches the last words before Bishop Guiel is able to stop him. She clutches her skirt to keep her rage and disgust from letting loose, but not the curses she's been suppressing.
Sure.
Finally telling the truth, aren't you? You are nothing but a bunch of hypocrites. Your endless talk of virtue and morality cannot fool me. If someone is a disgrace, it would be you.
Fuck this,
How dare you? She ignores him and walks out of the room, holding her head high. The sight of those vultures makes her sick to her stomach. Robert is stunned by the sudden turn of events, but quickly follows her steps, managing to catch her at the back door. Yo, let's go. She popping off. Dear vulture, what have you done? You can't just, keep your mouth shut, can you? Why did you have to piss him off?
Claw?
Piss him off? I was just telling the truth. That corrupted bishop... No, he actually seems pretty fair, all things considering. His past history, he seems like a very fair bishop here, dude. Enough. If you hadn't said those things and waited until I talked to Mr. Weiston, we wouldn't be having this conversation. That's easy for you to say. I'm curious why he even picked out that song in the first place. He knew this wouldn't work. You just want to use me as a tool. None of you ever believed in me, you bunch of sleaze buckets. Are we? You need us, not vice fucking versa. Think about it. What can you offer Mr. Weiston? Your body? Or is this what you've been planning the whole time? His head whips to the side with a loud slap, and red finger marks appear on his cheek. Robert spits something to the ground before staring at her like a predator before its prey. She is nervous watching him like this. As she hesitates, deciding whether or not to step back from him, someone nearby applauds. Yo, it's the mafia boss that beats up Let's Cereal. Let's go. Hey, what's up? How you doing? A man with long hair stands at the other side of the street. He's sizing the duo up with a cigar burning between his fingers and a smirk playing at his lips. This man is not just some nobody. The tough guys beside him are evidence of that. The sight of the man made the two stop quarreling. The man flicks the cigar ashes to the ground before walking towards them.
Lino.
Hope I didn't interrupt anything. Robert curiously sizes him up from head to toe, while racking his brain to remember where he had met him before. The man completely ignores him and takes the singer's hand before planting a gentle kiss on the back of it. It's a pleasure to meet you, Miss Chervlet Fricher. My name is Murphy. Murphy Tulane. Please excuse my friends here. They're all nice and decent people. A dangerous grin plays on his lips while he introduces himself. Robert shoots a warning glance towards Chervlet, warning her to stay away from this mysterious man, but she just stares back at him, not understanding the message. So, what's your business here, Mr. Tulane? Allow me to apologize first. I snuck into the box on the second floor while you were on stage just now. It was fantastic. Very touching, I must say. She forces a smile at the flummeries. Chervlet knew the box didn't open at all. By snuck into, he means he used privilege to get in, and he's not ashamed to admit it. You flatter me, Mr. Tulane.
Lino.
My cough. My gone.
No, it's you who is bestowed with ultimate potential. That bishop will never know what he missed. Please, forgive those pedantic old men. I can't believe the church is stubborn enough to waste your talent.
Say.
Actually, I have a dinner party tomorrow night. It would be nice to have you sing at the party. They would love you. I'm afraid she can't be there, sir.
Yark say.
Don't be like that, Mr. Manager. I'm talking with the lady here. Ooh. Murphy slowly shifts his gaze to Robert like a viper before its prey, making Robert swallow back what he wanted to say. The bodyguards behind him are also staring at the duo. One of them has a long scar on his face. Chervlet realizes they must be some kind of mobsters or mafia. Getting involved with these people would only make things more complicated. All I need is an answer. Wait, why the fuck did it auto-accept? It auto-accepted. What? What? Why did it auto-accept? What? What is going on? He takes a drag of his scar before putting out a ring into the air. Robert still looks scared, but the angry stare never leaves his face. Chevrolet hesitates under their glares. Bro, that auto fucking accepted. What? Murphy's offer is very tempting indeed, but it can't change the fact that he's a dangerous man. What difference would it make when so is Mr. Wyston? And he can do much more than the latter. With his help, she can finally have what she wants. Murphy has made his offer. All he's asking is that she clear her schedule tomorrow night. Dangerous man or not, she wouldn't be standing here if she wasn't ready for this. Robert, on the other hand, is reminding her of her contract with Lagarde. She still can't understand why he doesn't allow her to sing without him around, except for the baptism festival. Maybe he wanted full control of her voice. If she breaks the rules, he won't sponsor her anymore.
Star.
How could I say no to you, Mr. Tulane? Yeah, how could I when I wasn't even given the choice? What the fuck?
Muy bien.
Just tell me where, when, and where. I'll be there on time. You.
Lionel.
Excellent. I'm very impressed. He draws a card from his pocket and hands it to Chevrolet. The fanciful script on it says 8:30, 9th December, Newliston Hotel.
Bloche.
Thanks. She takes the invitation from his hand. Robert paces back and forth, mumbling, but he can't really say much under Murphy's cold gaze. He turns around and flounces out of sight. Chevrolet is relieved after watching him leave. Maybe it's a chance to get a new manager, she thinks. Murphy's not really a decent man, but neither is Lagarde. If she has to be used, she wants at least a little freedom for herself. Chevrolet will not give up as long as there's a chance. She will do anything to get what she wants. I don't know why it auto-accepted. But also, I now have to go. It's very abrupt. I understand. But, I have to go. So, yeah. Yes, confirm. And it'll keep it there. Alright. Yeah, I'll see you guys later. Have fun.